It is day 3, session 3 of our workshop series entitled AWS. We are learning this week and next all about our 6 options as federal employees when it comes to the schedules that we choose as far as our tour of duties. We have the honor of having Miss Shalinda McIvory, also known as V Sharp on the system, as our subject matter expert. And she has taken time to break down each option that we have and give it to you in chunks. Also, let me go ahead and say this. If you want the presenter's notes from today's session, drop your home email in the chat and I will collect them at the end and get those sent over to you. But in the meantime, listen up and get your questions ready. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. We'll save them to the end. And I'm going to turn the floor over. Well, I always do this. I'm Lakeisha Murphy. Just in case someone here doesn't know, I'm Lakeisha Murphy. I am the Chief Steward and Chapter Executive Vice President for 26. So again, thank you all for joining us. We're going to get through the information as quickly as possible because we do know that you're on your lunch break. And I'm going to now give the floor to Miss Shalinda McIvory.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So today we are talking about the best schedule that the IRS offers, though Lakeisha would beg to differ. And that schedule is called Maxiflex. Maxiflex means maximum flexibility. That's what it means. So it's the best, okay? So Maxiflex, as I said, means maximum flexibility. And the beauty of Maxiflex is that you don't have to work 40 hours in a week. You can split it up. You can do any number of things with your schedule. And you can accrue credit hours. So let's start there with credit hours. So for those of you who like to work credit hours, you can get a maximum of, or earn a maximum of 2 credit hours on your regular workday and up to 10 credit hours on your non-work days. So in this schedule, you can have non-work days. You can structure it how you want to structure it, as long as it meets the criteria for flexible time, bands, and core hours, all of the things that are required on any schedule that the IRS offers. You cannot earn and use credit hours in the same day, but when you do earn and use credit hours, it can be done in 15-minute increments, using or earning. So you can work between 6 o'clock in the morning to 8:30 p.m. with the flexible time bands being 6 a.m. to 9:30 and 2:30 to 8:30. So you can come to work, in other words, you can come to work anywhere between 6 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and you can leave work anywhere between 2:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. You do have to work the core hours. So we all know we will be at work, each and every one of us, between 9:30 and 2:30 p.m. on any regular work day. And when we're not at work during those 5 hours, we are on some type of approved leave.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, because you have to be at work during that time. So in Maxiflex, you have to be at work in those core hours on at least 8 out of your 10 work days in a pay period, right? So we have 5 work days each week. And on at least 8 of those, you need to be at work on the core hours. So you could structure a schedule where you have a non-core day. So you may be at work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 6 in the morning to 4:30 p.m. And then on Friday of that week, you might work 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. See, so that would be a non-core day. So non-core days would be off days or days where you're not at work during the core hours. So when we talk about credit hours, if you see here on this screen where it talks about for the purposes of accruing credit hours on non-core days, your start and stop times on those days are flexible. That's why I said 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock p.m. This is just an example now when I say 9 to 1, just trying to show you that that would be a non-core day. So those times are flexible. And then when you request this type of schedule, you will have to have a fixed start and stop time. So you can't change it up every day like you could do with gliding, for example. The time is fixed, no way to change it unless you are requesting that change permanently on form 10911 or temporarily, through a conversation with your manager, and the two of you determine how you want to arrange a temporary change to your approved alternate work schedule. You do have to work 80 hours per pay period with a maximum of 10 hours on a regular work day. So if you've been in any of the other sessions that we've had with Flexi Tour with credit hours and gliding, you'll notice that I said you had to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours per week, 80 hours per pay period. But with Maxiflex, those first two don't apply. You just have to work 80 hours in a pay period with a maximum of 10 hours on a regular work day. And you could, if you work credit hours, have 2 additional hours, and you will have worked 12 hours in that day. Now, the one thing that people don't like about Maxiflex is that they only get 8 hours of pay on a holiday. It doesn't matter how many days you're scheduled, hours you're scheduled on that day, on the holiday, that is, you only get 8 hours. So people tend to say, well, what about the other 2 hours where you could work? Or you could use credit hours, because remember, in this schedule, you can accrue credit hours, or you could use leave. So you can just bank credit hours to be used on the 11 holidays that we have throughout a year. Okay, Keisha, slide that up so I can see the schedules. Does anyone have any questions? Because this, what you're about to see, or what you can see now, is the beautiful part about Maxiflex. Okay, so in this first schedule sample, you'll see on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the first week, the person had different schedules, different start times, excuse me. On Monday, they started at 9:30 and they only worked the core hours. So for them, this is a regular work day and it is a core day. So core days are regular days, okay? And then you see Tuesday through Friday, they only work 10 hours one day and then 7.5 hours, or 10 hours 2 days and 7.5 hours on 2 days, and then 5 hours on Monday. So they work 40 hours in this first week. But you notice how all of those days are core days. So they have 40 hours in the first week, and then the second week, they still owe the government 40 more hours. So they, based on this schedule, they have gotten all 80 of their required hours, just at different times. In this sample, it's a live one that I sent to someone, and it met the needs that they were trying to meet, based on their lifestyle. Okay, so if you go down to the second schedule, this person has a non-core day. That's on Monday. And then every other day, they have core days. So remember, the requirement is that you have to work core days on at least 8 out of the 10 work days in a biweekly pay period. So in that 2 weeks, you can only have 2 non-core days. So in my example, I work Maxiflex. I work 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So mine looks like a 410, but it's not 410. I just work it like a 410. But if I wanted to, I could work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in 1 week, 30 hours. And then in week 2, work 50 hours. So that's still 80 hours. It's still only 2 non-core days. Because in week 1, I'm off Monday and Friday. And in week 2, I'm not off at all. So it's still 80 hours. That's the maximum flexibility that Maxiflex offers. Keep in mind that there are no other schedules that allow you to do that. It's the only one. You could even change your schedule when you know some holidays are coming back to back. Pull out that calendar and look at it and say, okay, you know what? If I'm off on this Friday and I'm off on this Tuesday, and week 1 I'm off Friday, and in week 2 I'm off Tuesday, the holiday falls on Monday, like we have next week. You could have changed your schedule and made it so that you would be off Friday, of course, Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, Monday and Tuesday, and you just got 5 days. So in week 1, you would have worked 40 hours and had one day off. And in week 2, you would have worked 40 hours and had 1 day off, and structured it around the holiday and made it work for you. Because you can change your schedule via Form 10911 once every other pay period. So you can make it work for you. There is no other schedule. I'm going to say it one more time for the record. There is no other schedule offered by the Internal Revenue Service that offers you maximum flexibility, like Maxiflex.
Before you go, real quickly, what was that form number again for that? I missed it.
In order to make an election.
Change the schedule.
Right. So it's Form 10911.
Okay.
And I have a question too. What did you say about you can change your schedule once every other pay period?
Yes, essentially once a month. That's really once a month, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on this kind of schedule for a long time, but I haven't taken advantage of how you're talking about to be able to do that. And it's nice to see it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind when you do that, see, a lot of times people don't use that part to their advantage, because remember, you're going to be stuck like that for the rest of the month, for a month. Really, you're going to be stuck with that schedule because you can't change it until the next month or every other pay period. So you'll have to wait. You'll have to work that schedule in the pay period that you. Okay, let me say that differently. So once you make an election, it becomes effective the pay period after you make the election. Okay, so you'd have to make the change early. It becomes effective in that pay period, the next pay period, and then you'll have to wait another pay period and then change again. So you can put it all in at one time, but the effective date is going to be whatever date meets these requirements. Every other month, every other pay period, excuse me. So once a month.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Hi, I wanted to ask a question. So I have the Maxiflex. Is it possible to have a Maxiflex with a glide?
No, ma'am.
Oh, so maybe I'm doing it wrong. Okay, so I need to sit around and listen some more then.
Well, what do you think is wrong?
So I have a 6 to 5 off the Friday of the first week and off the Monday of the second week. So each pay period I have a 4-day weekend. But then I'm starting, I saw that my manager updated my schedule to the Maxiflex because it wasn't in there as that at first. And so I've been kind of changing my hours as long as I'm working the core hours throughout the week. Even some of my off days, I've actually worked on the off day to kind of stagger my schedule how I needed it to work for me.
Okay, so the part that you think is wrong is that you're changing your hours?
Yes, so like my schedule is at 6 o'clock, but a lot of days I just go ahead and start at 9:30.
Mm-hmm. So yes, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. I mean, if your manager's letting you do it, then
no, I want to do it right. So
you want to do it
I
right.
shouldn't be doing it. So I should be.
Not.
So I should do it via the form 10091 if I want to change it for that month. Is that what I'm understanding?
10911. Yes, you can change the schedule. You can alternate between different types of schedules. You can just change the hours that you're working, whatever it is that you want to do. You can do it on form 10911. So in your instance, that sounds like a gliding schedule to me, what you were doing. And then, so now you're on a Maxiflex schedule. But what's different is when Monday comes and it's a holiday, you're only going to get 8 hours for the
Correct.
holiday.
I
Right.
had
Okay.
to put in leave time for today, so today was my holidays because I'm off Monday.
Okay. Because you're off. Okay. So, and then Friday is your non-core day, right?
Correct.
So the holiday moves. Yes. So that part is done 100% correctly. So stay on Maxiflex if you like it. It's my fave, and it's a good one. Do you accrue credit hours?
I do accrue credit hours, and I was kind of not understanding how I go about requesting certain credit hours, because a lot of times when I request credit hours, it's denied. So I've been trying to read the handbook, trying to understand the criteria or the qualification for the request for credit hours.
Okay, so that's another issue, but typically what we tend to do is send an email to our manager, request credit hours. You give them the location that you're going to be working the hours from and the time frame that you're going to work the credit hours. And in Maxiflex, you can work a maximum of 2 credit hours per day, 10 on your non-core day. So the denial though, that's a different issue. If you want to talk about that one, send an email to Lakeisha for her to assign that.
These 6 options, and that's why I really encourage everybody to join all of the sessions so that we can figure out, the nuances and, the best one for us. Because, even though she's saying maximum flexibility, Lakeisha, you're gliding. And it's like that's what works for you. And that's okay. I'm trying to find one other person to agree with me that gliding is better than Maxiflex. Just one. So,
well, see, that's the thing. See, they're really close. They're really close. They just are. The main difference between gliding and Maxiflex is that with gliding you can accrue 3 credit hours per day.
Right.
And with Maxiflex it's only 2. And with gliding you get with Maxiflex you only get 8 hours on a holiday, and gliding you get whatever number, I think it's the right number, whatever number of hours that you work on that day or you are scheduled to work for that day. Kind of like now I'm getting into another one, 549 and 410, which we can't get into because it's just not enough time.
That's
but
next week.
Those are a little different. Those are some of the little differences, but there is a way to make Maxiflex work for you. And the reason, and as I've said, that I think that this one is the best because what job can you go on and you only have to work 30 hours in that week? See, and the reason 30 is going to be the minimum is because you can't work more than 10 hours per day on Maxiflex, right? So the maximum number of hours you'd be able to get in 1 week would be 50 of regular hours. So that means the difference is 30 hours. That's why that's the minimum that you'll be able to get in 1 week. So what job can you go on that you work 30 hours?
What full-time job?
When you want to. Okay.
Right.
When you want, plus get you 2 more hours every day up to this maximum of 24 credit hours that we can have in the bag waiting on us. What job? This one right here. Okay. It's called the Internal Revenue Service Maxiflex Flexible Work Schedule.
Yeah. And it sounds like with Maxiflex, it just takes a little bit of planning. You have to look at your calendar, figure out what you have going on and plan in advance. Where gliding, you can plan as you go. You can work, you feel it. So yeah, you can definitely make
But you can't be off. You don't have any non-core days. You can't be off. That's a major difference.
Yeah.
You can't be off on any days. You get to be off. I've been on Maxiflex since they started this schedule. With the new contract, I believe it was 2008, and it's been 15 years. 2023 is almost 15 years that I've been on this schedule. I don't know if I can go on any of the other ones. I like it.
All right, so do we have any other questions before we let you go?
I do. Good morning. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Can we, and I kind of came in a few minutes late, but can we, like if I'm on a gliding, can we 1 month change it to Maxiflex and then go back to the gliding, or, vice versa? Is that something we can do? And also, is there, where can I find more information to read on my own on all of these?
So the first part of your question is yes, you can change schedules once per month, change schedule types once per month, or once every other pay period. And 2, Article 23 in the National Agreement has all of the
Thank you.
all of them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Someone else had a question?
I just wanted to say thank you to B for showing us how you could do a 410 out of this, because that's really very intriguing. I would have never thought of that. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. When I look at schedules, I think of them as how can I do the work that I'm required to do in a time that works for me and still be off and get paid. That's how I look at it. How can I be off and get paid? That's probably like really the first one. And it be legal. And it's legal. That's what started my interest in this. When they first started talking about these schedules and I knew it was coming, I was like, wait a minute, so I can be off and get paid twice in a pay period? Oh, I can't wait for it.
And just a thought, I wonder, I mean, I see the list of names of our attendees here. A lot of us accidentally work more than 8 hours anyway, right? I mean, and I think some of us are guilty of just throwing that time away. And with these flexible schedules, where we can work more than the 8 hours in any day, that kind of, I won't say compensates us, but it kind of keeps us in balance. It keeps us from giving away our free time. So I like the options because of that as well.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is Lakeisha. I called back in. So I
Hey.
had another question that I thought about. So
Okay.
am I able to work on a Saturday if I wanted to work on a Saturday
You
without
could get,
it being credit hours?
okay, that's what I was gonna say. No. Saturday would be a credit hour day.
Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm sorry. Even if one of my off days during the week, if I have an off day during the week, I still can't work on a Saturday if I wanted to.
Only with credit hours. Saturdays and Sundays are not official work days.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Let's see, we do have one question. If you are a remote worker, can you work this schedule?
Do you mean, when you say remote, do you mean telework? That you telework? Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, you could work these schedules. Alternate work schedules and telework are different. So you could be, I mean, I'm teleworking right now. Keisha's teleworking right now, and we both have alternate work schedules. So work schedules and telework are not the same thing.
For sure.
I'm really glad for this conversation because I work a 410 and my manager has asked me, why don't you, so of course I cannot work credit hours. And my manager asked me, why don't I switch to something? Maybe it was Maxiflex so I can.
Right.
But when I read the article, I just couldn't figure out how to do it. I couldn't figure out how to fill out the form so that I would have my 410 schedule, because I thought it read that I had to work 5 days a week. And that's not what I want to do. I want to work 4.
I work mine like a 410. I work Monday through Thursday, and that's it. And it's been almost 15 years.
Okay.
So you can indeed do it. And the reason I chose this one is, well, maximum flexibility, time number 5. And then and then I can accrue credit hours because I like to work credit hours. So I just like that, those 24 hours, sitting in the bank, that's 2 whole work days. That's 2 whole free work days.
Oh,
That you don't have to do on.
but one key thing you said was you only get 8 hours on the holiday. Whereas
Yes.
with 410, you get the whole 10, right?
That's
Like,
right. That's right. So with
Okay.
compressed work schedules, which we'll get into next week, you get the number of hours that you work that day. And there are only 3 compressed work schedules. One of them is regular, that staggered one, that's just really like a straight 8. And then 549 and 410. So those types of schedules, you get the number of hours you work per day. But with flexible work schedules, you get 8 hours for holiday. Okay, so again, with Maxiflex, remember, you can work credit hours, so it is our responsibility as employees working a Maxiflex work schedule. If we don't want to use our leave, then we work those credit hours that they gave us the opportunity to work and bank them. You know that you have 11 holidays in a year, right? So you can carry a maximum of 24 credit hours at any given time. So if you have 11 holidays and you're going to have to do something with 2 hours, then that's 22 hours. That means you can work 24 hours in the first month or 2 of the year, or whenever you work them, and then carry it on out for the rest of the year. You'll be ending the year with 2 credit hours left if you don't use them for anything else, and you won't have to use your leave.
wow, that's great.
Mhm.
So but you said you can't work more than 10 hours a day. So how can you earn the credit hours?
You can't work more than 10 regular hours.
Oh,
Remember, you can work 12 hours, including 2 credit hours.
gotcha.
So
Thank
only
you.
10 hours. Mhm.
That's
10 regular
wonderful.
hours.
Thank
Mhm.
you so much.
No problem.
So let me just
Hi, this is I'm sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No.
Oh, I was about to say,
Okay.
someone's mentioned that they didn't know how to do the schedule. I was uncertain as to what was available as well. So I went into Setter, and I don't know what I clicked on. Maybe one of you all can expound on that. But it gave me a whole list of all the schedules available, period, to the service. So
Mhm. I don't know where that is on Setter, but remember, with any of these schedules, you're not manipulating. You can't control Setter that way. Management has to do that. So when you complete Form 10911 and it's approved, then management is the one who enters that information in Setter. So don't let Setter be what deters you from a schedule or has you all perplexed about how to do it, because that's not what your job is. When they pay management to do certain things, let them do their job. And when you start having to do it, then ask them to give you some of that money. I bet they'll get it put in then.
Mhm.
So don't worry about that part of it. Just do your part, which is complete Form 10911. And in that section where you have to enter the work times, that's where you put that information. You enter that in that space. So remember, with Maxiflex, your start and stop times are fixed on your regular work days. On 8 of those days, at least 8 of those days, it's fixed. So I work 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So my form has Maxiflex, that box checked, and then it has 8 to 4:30 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in week 1, and the same thing in week 2. That looks like a 410, but it is actually a Maxiflex because I can accrue credit hours. Okay, that's all you have to do. Sign it, date it, and give it to your manager. It will become effective at the beginning of the pay period, after you submit it and it's approved. The next pay period. So work this thing to your advantage with Maxiflex. Because I'm sure we have some more holidays coming up. You can just mix that schedule up and get you 4 or 5 days off in one hit. One hit. Change it if you want to. Just make it work. Maximum flexibility, time number 6.
Yeah, that video is coming.
You better get ready. I'm gonna write my stuff down, Keisha. Because I'm
I have
ready.
talking points too now.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait.
Let's go to war.
All right, let's see. I'm scrolling the comments real quick just to make sure we got all the questions. I think we have. So just to wrap up, well, Shalinda, you said you explained the form 10911 and when the when the change takes effect. Did you share that they have to keep the schedule that they select for at least 2 pay periods?
I think I did. I'm not sure.
The sessions
Okay,
are
but if
running
I
together
did-
at this point.
I know. I'm sorry. If I did not say that, you can change your schedule once every other pay period or once a month. What equates to once a month. So think about it like this. 12 times a year, you can change your schedule, make that thing work out for the holiday. You know what I mean? Just work it out. I mean, pull your calendar up and just look at it and say, okay, if I'm out here, I can take 1 day less leave and make it work. So say like Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday. We know it falls on a Thursday, the last Thursday of every month, forever, right? So you could say, okay, my off day is Friday, right? Because you work 10 hours a day, Stephanie and whoever else. So I'm gonna make that week 1, my off day. My off day is on Friday. So I'm gonna say, okay, I'm sorry, let me say that differently. Say if on Friday the president gives us that day off. And you get that email. Okay, I'm gonna change my schedule and make Wednesday my my non-core day in week 1. And then I'm gonna make Monday my non-core day in week 2. Now I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Where do they do that at? You better get ready, Keisha. Where can you do that? Which one of these schedules can you do that in? Time number 7, maximum
Maxiflex.
flexibility.
Look, my schedule's already planned out through May.
I think you're winning this crowd, so I'm gonna have to go find me another crowd.
You got Nancy.
Right, I have my mom.
Mm-mm.
Next week, we will continue with our series on our AWS options. B, what is our next topic?
Our next topic is, hold on, I think it's 549. Pretty sure it's 549.
549.
549?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all
Yep.
join us next week as we continue our series. We have 3 more days, 3 more topics, and we look forward to sharing with you. And if there are no further questions or comments, we will let you go. Thank y'all for joining.
Enjoy your
Thank
day,
you all.
gentlemen.
All right.
Ladies.
Bye.